Hi everybody, this is Surfer of Life and I'm your host Tomi. Right now I'm sitting outside in a skate park in Sipoo, Finland, and beside me is sitting one of the great snowboarders in Finland, Jukka Erätuli, who has, for example, won twice the World Cup in big air. Welcome, Jukka.
Thanks, Tomi. Nice to be here.
How is Sipoo?
Sipoo is awesome. We've lived here for 10 years and it's a good place to be with kids and family. I really like it. It's close by Talma, which is probably the best ski resort in southern Finland, South Finland, and I like it here. It's not too far from Helsinki and it's a good place to be.
What about Talma? What does it mean to you?
It means a lot to me, at least nowadays. I couldn't snowboard for 8 years pretty much because of my knee injury, and now last winter I was able to ride again and my knee was like okay, and I was actually seeing my friends again in Talma, and it meant so much to me. Like means like a little bit of freedom in the hectic everyday life of family and work, and it was super fun, and I'm looking forward for a winter again.
Sounds really good, and winter is coming. As
yes.
We know, it's still a couple of more months to go. What is the secret in Talma? Because so many good riders come from Talma.
Well, they give a lot of effort for the park. They do half pipe even if it's like difficult to hold on. And they just put a lot of effort in a small tiny hill, and they make it like so nice for us. And it's small hill, it's really quick to go up and down, and if I ride a couple of hours, like 2 hours, I get to ride so much kickers and rails and pipe in one day that if I'm in middle Europe or somewhere, it's like much longer runs and much less hits in one run. So I think that's the secret of Talma.
Okay, the secret of Talma, yes. Now it's revealed.
Yes.
We went straight to snowboarding, but I'm gonna ask you another question. When did you did your last song?
Last song? Oh, I wanted to learn something new. From the youth, I always got those like songs in my head. I never wrote them down, but then like a couple of years ago, I started writing them down, and my friend who's a musician, Hannu Heikkala, told me to start to play guitar, and so I could more easily make songs. And I had never played guitar. I had played drums before when I was a kid, and now I started learning, and I think I always want to learn something new, so I started playing guitar a little bit, and then I got really excited, and I was playing more and more, and it's only like maybe 1.5 years ago that I started. I learned a little bit, so now I can make songs with my guitar. I really love it. And yeah.
Nice. How many songs you made already?
Well, I have maybe 20 songs,
right.
Which we are planning to make ready with my musician friend at some point, but he has small children as well and work, so it's slowly going forward.
All right, but soon we will hear your songs. Probably in the future. That's great. Okay, we can go back to the sport of snowboarding. We all do have a history, and what about your history when you were a kid? Were you a very active kid?
I was super active. I was always doing a lot of sports. I was competing in tennis since I was like able to walk pretty much. I started playing tennis because my mom and dad was really enthusiastic, and I was competing until I was maybe 13 years old. I was doing quite well, but I didn't have many friends at my age. They put me into, I got into camps and stuff which were like for the best players of that age, and everybody was older than I was. I was like 10 to 12 and everybody else was like 14 to 15, and I really didn't. I enjoyed playing, I enjoyed sports, but I didn't enjoy those like that feeling that was on that sport, kind of like it was so serious. And then I started skateboarding and I was completely sold like straight away. and one of the hardest decisions was to quit tennis because mom and dad had supported me so much on tennis, and I just one day told that I'd rather go to Serena. It's actually was really close to place where I lived, and my parents still lived there, and I just stopped completely, and I was going to Serena instead, and in the summertime I was skateboarding, and I was so happy. Like I so happy. I've been skiing since I was 3 years old, and then I started snowboarding when I was 9, and that was when I was 12 when I completely stopped tennis and started snowboarding only.
What were your parents' reactions when you told them that tennis is over?
Well, my dad had supported me so much, like in tennis. He had to kind of build this like tennis hall close to us. It wasn't for me, but I was like great motivation for him to build that place. You know, like he had really put effort on it, and I was so afraid telling him that I'm not gonna play anymore. I was like, that was horrible moment, but he accepted. But then he kind of let me do my own thing after that. Like my mom bought me snowboards and all the gear, and I really liked it that they kind of let me do that by myself. So I was going to competitions with my friends, and when my sister got a driving license, I was traveling a lot with her, and I really enjoyed it by just doing it. It's just my own thing, you know, like I was just able to go with my friends, having fun while like doing it. It's been awesome, yeah.
No coaches involved.
No coaches.
No pressure.
No pressure. Like super motivation to learn new stuff and just to ride and have fun with friends and go bigger and go more technical.
It was already way back then that many of the sports, they get so I don't know, serious in early age. And nowadays I think it's even worse. So what do you think about this? Because people, we like to put our kids in different sports, and they want to try stuff, but it starts so early that you need to concentrate only on that, and then probably the fun just disappears.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going wrong quite often. And actually I heard about the study where they say that, like, I'm not sure about if I'm specific, but it was like that most athletes have been doing a lot of different sports when they were young, who's doing it professional now. So they didn't concentrate on just that one sport, and they're except like figure skating, that's a different deal. That's what you have to do only when you're in, like, from young age, and probably something gymnastics and stuff. But I think it's like just to have motivation to do whatever you do. I think that's the thing. And then if you're motivated to do sports, then you do all kinds of sports. It only helps you out, like whatever. Like it's better for young body to do many things, not just one thing, and it's more fun.
I totally agree. Probably your dad got happy after he saw that you really enjoyed the other stuff.
Yeah,
after tennis.
Yeah, for sure, he got happy. Probably he would have wanted me to continue because I was pretty good at tennis, and also I would have made more money by like being professional tennis player, but you can't buy happiness at that level, you know. Like if I kept doing that, I think I would have lost many years of my life. Now I had like so good time. So it's like worth millions.
I totally agree on that. Okay, early age you started snowboarding, you said when you were 9 years old, and you already spoke about the competitions. Did you feel like you want to compete also when you started snowboarding right away, or was it just having fun first?
Yeah, definitely. I was doing all the competitions that we had in our local hill. I wasn't doing really good. I was just like wanting to be there and wanting to learn stuff, but many of my friends were much better at that time in the beginning, but then I learned quite quickly. Yeah, I wanted to compete. I've always been really competitive guy, so I enjoy that. I enjoy putting myself in those situations. Yeah, so I still get into that competition mode, even if I go to Talma and my body is really not at the same shape than before, but when I go riding with like pro riders like Ettala or Peet or any like good riders, I still get in that competitive mode, you know, like I get into like, even if I haven't been riding for 8 years, I still get into that like competition feeling that I want to do better and better. It's so funny because I learned quite quickly like all the tricks back last winter, or not all the tricks, but quite a lot. But even if I play something, I can take it like with a joke nowadays, but still when I play with my friends, we take it really seriously, you know, like the games. I've always loved doing contests. But after I quit riding professionally, I decided that I want less pressure, and I don't want that pressure anymore that I've had since I was, I don't know how, when I started competing in tennis, but I decided that, okay, I'm gonna have it more chill, not so much pressure, not putting myself into risk that much anymore, and I don't know, I still find myself in those situations still.
Did you learn to, of course you learned to compete when you were playing tennis, and did you learn to cope with your mentality back then, like facing your fears before the game? Were you excited or were you nervous before games in tennis?
I always was a little nervous, but I was liking the feeling. Like we talked before, you said that when you were doing sports, you get into that mode. And that mode is like when you lose everything else. I really like that feeling. Like when you're really focusing on the competition, I forget like everything else and just focusing on the competition. And even in riding, like doing sports that you do something dangerous, like in snowboarding, you can like hurt yourself really badly. So you really have to be focused on that situation where you are. You have to be focused on your body and surroundings, and I like that feeling. I think you can like practice those things in like yoga or meditation or whatever, but still the best gigs in sports, at least in like a little bit extreme sports, you are forced to focus on the moment and live moment by moment. And I still like it.
Step by step you started competing, you went further, and then it happened, you actually became a professional snowboarder.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Well, that was the best feeling in my life. Like I was traveling, doing World Cup since I was 16. Pretty much I was traveling the world, and I got some money from my sponsors, but my mom and dad was still paying quite a bit of like my sponsorships didn't cover all my travels at all, and I was slowly getting paid more and more. And then I was riding for Airwalk. Like all my clothes and boards and bindings and boots were Airwalk brand, and I was just getting into their team and stuff, and things were looking pretty good. But Airwalk went bankruptcy, and I lost all my sponsors at once. You know, like I didn't have anything anymore because that was my only. I had some small sponsors, but that was like my main sponsor, and I lost it. And my wife was carrying baby at that time, and I was pretty sure I was around 20 years old at that time, 21. And I knew that I still have so much to give for snowboarding, and snowboarding have so much to give me. I really didn't want to quit, but I was in a situation that I didn't have any money. I couldn't travel. I was like adult. I couldn't ask my mom and dad to pay for my trips anymore. And then this like bigger came in the World Cup. I was doing ISF World Cup before, but then they quit doing competitions ISF, and then there was like FIS bigger competition in Whistler in Canada, and I think I spent all my family's money to go on that last trip, and it was like so much pressure. If I do really good, if I get some prize money, I get to continue. If I fall, if I do a little mistake, then that's it. I have to quit. Like I can't travel anymore. And I won that contest, and I got like $10,000 prize money, and I got to travel the next competition, the like bigger competition in Japan, and I won that as well, and I got like 10 grand. And then after winning those two competitions, I got my sponsor. I got new sponsor from Head Snowboards, and then things started going really, really well. And getting my first child, and things started going well. That was quite a quite a trip.
You were really back against the wall in that situation, that all the money is spent and you need to win this competition. So you must have been a little bit nervous.
Yes, definitely.
How did you find your way to cope with that? How did you deal with that fear? You said when the competition starts, you can be totally focused, 100% focused. Did you have some kind of routines or things that you did to make it happen?
I think it's just the best thing is to practice enough, to have the confidence. I know that I'm pretty good. Like I can do the same stuff than the best guys there. I can in bigger I can do like good tricks and stuff, just because I have been riding so much. So I think that's like one thing for sure, that you're confident with your own doing. And then when I was really confident with my own doing, it was easy to be in contest. But it still took, if I go back in years, it took quite a long. I was winning most of the Finnish Cup competitions before I went to first World Cup. I was doing really well in Finland, but it took 2-3 years that I started to do my best in international competitions. And then all of a sudden something clicked, and I started doing my best in international competitions as well. And I don't know what is that click, but something happened. Many of my friends were doing so well outside of competitions, and then they ruined their riding. Like their riding didn't go well in competitions, but I was pretty much the opposite. And even in competition practice, I was like falling down. But then in competition, I always did my best jump. I don't know. It
seems like you were born to compete.
Yeah, somehow.
Did it change anything for you when there was audience? Small competitions, there are only buddies watching and cheering you, and when you go big, you really go big. Like big air contest, there were maybe tens of thousands of people watching.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed it. It didn't give me any more pressure. I really liked it. And it was easy, kind of, when things go well, it's easy to ride without so much pressure. But when things go wrong, it's like you get this, that you have to win this thing, or like you have to quit. But I don't know. I liked it. I did like the audience. Bigger audience, better. I liked it. I never wanted to be the middle of attention otherwise. I hated being like the center of attention. But in riding, I loved being noticed. Even if I ride in Talma nowadays, I love if somebody noticed if I do a good trick. I really like to be in the center of attention when I'm doing sports. But other than that, I don't like to be the center of attention.
Okay,
I had to practice it. I had to do some public speaking and stuff. I forced myself doing it so I can do it, but I still don't enjoy it. But I enjoy getting noticed when riding.
How were the other competitors in the so-called circus of snowboard competition and World Cup? Were you all buddies, or was it the hard, heavy competition where you're really competing and against each other, or was it a big sort of a family tribe that was just traveling?
Really a family tribe. Like we often shared the prize money that we got from the competitions. It's somehow different. I don't know about other sports except like tennis when I was young, but it seems like it's so different. And snowboard competitions, they were always really fun, having fun together. I think main reason is maybe that we all get to do what we really love, and we already get paid for doing what we love. So that's kind of, if you were doing some other sport like swimming or running, like you probably do it to succeed in contests, like that's your goal. But I think most snowboarders reach their goal when they get to do it, and even if we get money out of it, like just doing the thing that we really love. So that's already achieving a goal, at least for many guys. So like doing competitions, that's not the winning a competition is not the main goal for most of the guys. So maybe that's like takes the pressure out of it as well.
I was checking some stuff about you before this interview, and I found this nice little clip from Hot Sports 1998 where you were teaching people to snowboard and telling about the competitions, and there was this girl also.
Yes.
Is she now your wife?
She's my wife, yes. We've been together since I was 18, and now we have 4 children, and still together. Hasn't been easy always, but we still have love, and we still like really enjoy each other's company. So just don't have too much time with the children to be together, but just today we were walking together. Now the kids are a little bigger, and I noticed again today that I really like her. I really like her. And she was the hottest girl back then, and I was 18 and she was 6 years older than I was, like 24, and she was really like, when I was 12 I saw her riding in Levi, snowboarding in Levi with like the best, my idols, like best guys in Finland. And I was looking like, that girl is so hot. I was 12 back then and she was like like 18 or something. And then I won my Finnish champs in 98 for the 3rd time, and she did an art interview of me like for Helsingin Sanomat. She was writing stories. She had kind of quit her career as a snowboarder and writing stories, and that's then we went on a date afterwards, and yeah, she was so hot and so wise and nice wife.
Snowboarding has really given you a lot in your life.
Definitely.
Okay, 98. The style was a bit different, and tricks were already big, but maybe not as big as nowadays. And you told me already that there was this really a family feeling at the competitions. You think it's like this still?
I don't know. When I stopped snowboarding, I really had to get out of it. I didn't look any snowboard magazines, or didn't even like look for videos. I don't know, because I had to leave the snowboarding because of injury, because of my knee injury. So when I was reading magazines, I wasn't feeling good, so I stopped following snowboarding. And only now for like 2 years, when I was able to ride again, I've been starting looking like Instagram clips from the riders and all, following it again, and I don't know, it seems like it's getting, of course it's crazy nowadays. I was doing like one flip like 900s, and now they do like double, triple flips, and like, so it's crazy. If I went jumping from thing to thing, but I was talking to one was it runner or something, other guy from other sport, and he said that I was watching TV, that's it, and I was looking at this guy who was ski jumping before, Finnish guy, well, I can't remember anyway, but he was saying that maybe if he gets back to best shape she was back then, she could do still well. But if it's snowboarding, if I was doing the best I ever did, I would be like so behind. I would be like 3 times, my spins would be like 3 times behind the guys that are nowadays. So like comeback wouldn't be easy, like even if I was doing really well. I don't know if I would even do good in girls competitions anymore, even if I was doing the best that I was doing back then.
Maybe one chicken salad would save you.
Yeah.
When was the last time you did chicken salad?
I did some last winter.
Great.
Yeah.
What do you think now, after competing many years, and you really like to compete, and you were good with your head in the competitions? Did this sport give you some, mindsets that you can use in everyday life nowadays?
It has given me a lot, but it also makes things a little bit more difficult as well, because I got to do what I really loved for so long, and now all of a sudden I had to stop and I had to start everything kind of all over again. And when I got to do something that I really loved for so long, it's not easy to start up a new life and start up like other careers, and maybe for some people it's easier, and it would have been like easy way out to be in snowboard business, be like photographer or filmer or something. That would have been like soft way out of it. But I have family here, I couldn't travel. It was difficult, and still little challenges at some point to go work from 9 to 5, and it's still a little difficult. I'm spoiled, you know.
How did you find your way to this sort of normal living? What was the trigger for you, or is there any trigger? Or have you just grown step by step?
Maybe I still grow step by step, but after snowboarding, like I said, I didn't follow any snowboard media. I didn't even follow any media actually. I really wanted to find out, like, it felt so weird after snowboarding that I wanted to see like what else there is, and then I started finding like some deeper meaning in my life, and went to retreats and didn't follow any media for a couple of years, and just like taking it slow and trying to find some meaning in my everyday life more than just like living every day, doing everyday things. But I was in a car accident, really bad car accident when I was 16 or 16, and I survived kind of. Like, it was really not a big chance to survive that accident with my sister. So that made, like, really I started thinking like, what is this life, and what is it that we're gonna anyway, we're gonna die in a couple of decades. So like trying to find out deeper meaning in life, and that's where I got like gigs for many years. I was like following spiritual teachers, and I was like being in silence a lot, and trying to figure out what is this thing called life. I'm still kind of on that path.
What did you do? You said you were in silence. You still do that? You meditate or something?
Yeah, I do a lot, like, but I don't like practice meditation. I try to be in meditative like set of mind, and sometimes I'm totally like unconscious, and sometimes I'm more conscious, but that's what's really like interests me. I got also, like, from the accident and from all the concussions I got from snowboarding, I got pretty sick actually. Like, I had like really, I still have, but I had really bad migraines after I stopped snowboarding, and for 5 years I was pretty sick actually, and that was difficult times. Now I've been better. Still suffer those, but I'm better now actually. But I had like maybe 10 migraine attacks like in 1 week for so many years. When our fourth baby was born, and couldn't sleep enough, and then my headaches got really bad, and yeah, the only thing kind of I survived was like trying to mentally handle myself somehow better, and meditation, whatever you want to call it, like made like that was helping me out for sure.
How did you do it? Did you have some kind of mentor, or you just figured it out yourself?
Well, I have had mentors, you know. Me and my wife have been on the same kind of path for a long time, and it's not, life is pretty mystical, so just like figuring out stuff and learning. In the internet there is a lot of stuff that I'm interested in, following spiritual teachers. There's teachers in Finland as well, and yeah, that's been interesting me. That still it is. I was like when I was really sick, I really got out of it, because I stopped eating meat when I got into those stuff. I stopped drinking. I stopped using like alcohol, and then when I got really sick, I got so frustrated, and I started drinking again every now and then, and I really wanted something fun in my life again, and then I started living like I used to live before. So that was really good times as well. We and Henry Sangal, we were having a ski resort in Sweden for 1 year, and I was there away from my family for a couple of months just to have a break for everything and have that like fun stuff back again. And we had good time, and now I'm getting back into those like silence moments more.
Was it that Swanstein ski?
Yes, that's it for sure. It's a nice place.
You still part of it, or you were just for 1 year?
I was there for 1 year when my friend Henry was like the entrepreneur there. He asked me to help him out there, and for 1 season I was helping him out there, and it was fun. It was completely different. I had been working regular jobs, and I had some businesses as well, but was working in regular jobs, so that was really nice change, because I never pretty much lived like normal teenage years, because I was traveling and doing competitions, even if it was super fun. I liked it, but now I'm back in Sipoo and been here 2 years and really enjoying it again. I think I needed that 3 months I was there. Actually, I was coming home every second week, but 3 months I was there. And now my wife took it back, like she was writing a book last summer, so I was mostly alone with kids the whole last summer, because she was writing her book. That was her dream, and she was away for the whole summer, so now we're even.
It's always good to be even in a relationship.
Yes.
Okay, so you were owning a ski resort, but you also do other stuff. You're an entrepreneur, you are a mentor, right?
Yeah. Well, I was, when I said that I went public speaking, I was speaking publicly to people, but I got into the mentor studies with Tomi Helsten school after snowboarding as well. I was really into it. I was studying for 2 years, and I was working for Tomi Helsten for those 2 years as well. And then they asked me to do like consulting business at their model, and I was thinking that this is the last thing I would like to do, like be in front of people talking the whole day. I haven't been really, even if I'm talking a lot now, I haven't been really talkative guy, and then I rather listen normally, but now I speak a lot. But then talk to people in front of people for like whole day, that was like crazy. I couldn't possibly think that I could manage it ever. But I really like challenges, so I took the challenge, and I was doing it for 2 years. I was consulting in a bank for 2 years, mostly in a bank, and I learned a lot. It was nice. I learned a lot, and I really appreciate those like days, even if I kind of hated those days as well, being a consultant in dressing in a suit. And yeah, I was learning a lot, but I didn't enjoy it much.
You don't see that wearing a suit type of guy.
No, that wasn't maybe my thing.
But you are also doing a lot of good. You're helping youth to get job, and you're also stuff like that. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, after working in a bank for 2 years, I felt that I have to do something different. I want to help out some poor people, and I want to help some unemployed youth. I really felt that. And then I find this project, like the youth project and unemployed project, and I went there to had a job actually in a project and helping out unemployed people, unemployed youth, and then later like managing a project, like government funded project. And yeah, I really did like it. I'm still in a startup, and now I'm working in a startup company called Work Pilots, helping out youth to get gig jobs, and yeah, that's kind of my passion as well, and close to my heart, helping out young people who get like socially excluded from the society. So I feel pulled into that kind of stuff for sure.
Have you always been that way? Have you always been a helpful person, or have you just grown now when you've been like
I think I've
mentally
always
searching?
been. I always had that side on me for sure. Yeah.
What does Olevainen stand for?
It's my and my wife's company. I was doing those consulting business through that, and we were doing like we had some products. I wanted to make a watch without like that you. I don't know how to call it in English, like a timeless watch without like the hands of the watch, so you can't really see time. Because I felt like the timelessness is my thing, so I started making watches without hands in the watch, so you couldn't really see, you just could see the eternity sign on it. And we did some passion projects with my wife through Olevainen, and she was doing some work via our company, and I was doing some work via our company, and writing poetry and blogs, and that's kind of how my wife got into writing blogs to this big Hidasta-elämää blog site, and that's how she got her book published now, and we still have the company, but it's quite like living by itself now, so been doing other stuff. It was fun. It was fun working with my wife, but the thing didn't carry, I always thought that, okay, I just do poetry, I just do music, I just do like whatever I feel doing, and that will carry, but it didn't. At that time. It teach me a lot, but I had to get living for my family, so by writing poetry, like that didn't bring food to my table, I had to do some other stuff.
If you go back to the young Jukka, did you have some dreams when you were younger? Were you dreaming about achieving something when you grow up?
Sure, dreaming about girls and dreaming about being professional snowboarder. Yeah, that I was dreaming about that for sure, so often. Yeah.
That was at least one thing that you achieved that you were dreaming of.
Yes.
Were there others? That you have come to that point that, I made it.
Yeah, I was dreaming about girls, and I met this girl that I wanted, so I achieved that dream as well. So I didn't think that I would make like such a big family, but now I'm blessed with 4 children, and it's really now the meaning of my life to be a dad. I like it, I love it, even if it's really difficult and heavy sometimes, but it's like without them I would feel quite empty.
As a competitor, you were good. What do you think were your keys to the success when you were competing as a snowboarder?
Probably the enthusiasm about that sport, or lifestyle, how you want to call it. I just really wanted to do it. I just didn't want to do anything else. I just wanted to do it and learn. There were many better riders than I am. I was in some things I was really good, but I was loving doing it for sure. Really loved it, and I still do love it. That's maybe, and then the competitive mindset that I had since a very young age, probably that as well, because I've been playing football and tennis and competing and doing all kinds of sports since I was very young, and I really liked it. So probably just by doing a lot of sports, competing a lot, enjoying it a lot. I don't know what's the mental, like it's so difficult to explain like why I was doing good in competitions, but not all my friends who were as good riders, like why they didn't do that well in the competitions. It's I don't know, it's mystical, it's mystic. Mystical stuff.
Mystical stuff is always good. What do you think are the keys to success as a father and as a husband?
As a husband, maybe I take that first. Just like in snowboarding as well, not give up when there is difficult time. I think that was because I was wanting to be somewhere else after snowboarding. I wanted to do something unregular stuff, and just still having a little bit of that craziness to do stuff that you still want, even if it's not like people normally wouldn't go to ski resort, for a season. But I really needed that, and I think when I got that, I was better father. I've been better father after that for 2 years, 3 years. I got something that I really wanted, and to give her the possibility to be away, to write her book, and grow as a human being, to understand myself better, understand my wife better. It needs like millions of discussions to understand myself and understand her, and it's still not easy, but there is much more good than difficult times, even if there's a lot of difficult times as well. Just not giving up. I think if people would, even when you have small children, if you give up at that time when it's most difficult time, I think that's a mistake, because it gets easier when kids get bigger. So just not give up. If you have some kind of connection.
And talk is important. I think a lot of people are missing that.
Yeah.
They don't talk.
Yeah, but and being a dad, success in being a dad, I'm learning every day still. All the kids are different. All my kids are different. I'm learning. I'm trying my best. But I thought that I knew more when I didn't have kids, and when I have one kid, I know more. And now I have 4 kids. I don't think I know much about how to be a good dad. I just try to survive and feed them and try to be their friends as well.
You've done all really extreme sports and risky sport.
Yes.
Like you said, you had many injuries. And what do you let your own kids do?
Well, I always said that whatever thing they find, but if they're really enthusiastic about something, that's so good. If they have some hobby that they like. And I was actually thinking again when I was watching my son's, he's 16 now, watching his first MMA match. I was thinking did I have to say that? I was almost peeing my pants, looking him fighting in the MMA cage. But yeah, but I still think that whatever they find, and I really like taking him to his hobby nowadays, and taking my girls to hobbies, and yeah.
What about you? You got back to snowboarding. Is there other hobbies for you still out there that you are really enjoy and you're passionate about?
Yeah, I always carried my camera when I was traveling. I was taking a lot of pictures, and now I'm kind of doing films at my job. A lot of videos in my job again. I was filming videos in the snowboard career, and I'm using a lot of my camera. I love walking around in Helsinki with my camera, or even without my camera, and just to observe people and situations. And I kind of like to be a lot by myself. I love my friends, but I also love to be alone, because my life is so hectic with big family. So I enjoy just being by myself, walking in a city. It's one of my most favorite hobbies is just walk in a city by myself and observe.
Time for yourself.
Yes.
Oh, this has been great. It's actually dark here outside now.
It is.
We started, it was daylight, but now it's a dark skate park, and we are sitting here. Only light we have is this iPad I have on my hands. It's been just great, I have to say. But one more question.
Yes.
I have to give you. How do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
What a difficult question. But my children are so big. My youngest daughter is 15 then. And I've decided that when they grow older, I'm gonna do a 1 year surf trip with my camper van. So maybe I'm in my 1 year surf trip when she's 15, the youngest daughter. Doing freelance work from my camper van, and my wife can be writing her books in my camper van.
That sounds awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much
Thanks
for
Tomi.
coming here. It's been great. Thank
Thanks,
you
Tomi.
very much, Jukka.